It's Monday, April 26th, and the time for your Barbados Today morning news update. As Barbados gets set to implement new protocols for vaccinated visitors from May 8th, a former Minister of Tourism is calling on government to outline its exact plans for the bread and butter industry. Speaking on the Democratic Labour Party's virtual program, The Sunday Roast last night, which focused on tourism, Richard Seeley acknowledged that what was currently happening to the sector as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic was unprecedented. However, he said the country needed to know what our government's plans to move the sector forward.
We've been speaking about diversification. We've been speaking about intersectoral linkages. We've been speaking about all of these things for many a year. However, I guess now with the reality of COVID, we find ourselves now almost being forced, dragging, kicking, and screaming against our will to do these things that we probably could and should have been doing with a little more vigor before. I like everyone else in Barbados, I want to hear what exactly are the plans going forward. I am not satisfied that I think I've heard exactly where it is we want to take the sector, and by extension, the economy of Barbados, because you can't divorce the two. If we accept that we are basically tourism dependent, you have to sort out the tourism picture before you can tell me about other sectors that are connected to tourism. So we need to hear a little more about that.
Seeley said crisis in itself was not new, as he dealt with the 2008 global economic crisis during his tenure as tourism minister, while his predecessor had to deal with the wake of the 9/11 tragedy. But he admitted that the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic was a bit worse. However, the former MP said coming out of the pandemic, there will be great demand for Caribbean destinations, and questioned whether Barbados was ready.
We have to focus on the fundamentals. We still need clarity on our investment strategy. We had our hotel room stock up to about 7,000 rooms when I came out of office, and that was an increase from 2008. I've heard talk about wanting to have up to 1 million long-stay visitors in Barbados. I don't know where you're going to put the people if you don't have hotel rooms. We hear about hotels that are supposed to be constructed, but we now need to start to see bricks going up in the air. And in fact, to my mind, now that you have, almost no meaningful tourism, this is a good time to deal with some of those elements. And even as you move away from the bricks and mortar, the product offering, the visitor experience, these things that we were talking about coming out of 2008, still relevant today. I mean, I heard Damien touched on it. I mean, the idea of someone coming down here and just, laying down on the sand under a palm tree and taking a dip in the ocean, those days are over. People want to be immersed in the culture and want to enjoy the destination, so we have to hear about that. And of course, markets. Yes, new markets, existing markets, and what we plan to do. There's going to be a tremendous demand for Caribbean vacations coming out of this COVID thing. Are we prepared for it? How are we going to manage it? What are we doing to benefit from it? I am not so sure that I'm hearing any clear picture in that regard.
Government is still honoring its commitment to some micro and small businesses impacted by the recent COVID-19 lockdowns. Word of this from Minister of Small Business and Entrepreneurship, Kerry Simmons. He told the Public Affairs Department program One-on-One that government has paid over $3 million within the last week alone.
There are still funds being disbursed as we speak. We have gotten the entire vote from Parliament on the eve of the estimates, and the estimates would have concluded week before last. We would have gone back to Parliament for another $6.5 million, which was calculated in order to carry us through all of the requirements as we understood it up to that time. I would have to say to you that the availability of the money is a little bit slower than I ideally would have liked. We have been dispersing about $3.5 million of that 6.5 during the course of the last week. So the disbursement process has started with regard to that second tranche. But obviously that still leaves me short of about $3 million, which we have to deal with as we go into the next coming weeks.
There is a suggestion for a year of public reflection and debate in Barbados before any person is elevated to national hero status. It's coming from a president of the Clement Payne movement, Ambassador David Commission, who said that he has already made the suggestion to members of cabinet. Government has indicated that it is contemplating increasing the number of national heroes and have asked Barbadians to make recommendations. But Commission believes government should not move to immediately declare additional national heroes.
What should happen is that perhaps on National Heroes Day this year, government should announce to the Barbadian people the names that they have received from the public as recommendations for elevation to national hero status, and declare a 1-year period of public reflection, public discussion, a 1-year period in which Barbadians should be encouraged to write articles about the persons they wish to see elevated to the status of national hero, and to let us have an intensive 1-year period of national discussion. It is my feeling that kind of interactive, participatory exercise would be much more beneficial to the Barbadian people than simply government having received nominations and government making a selection.
Commission believes that a vetting process is necessary.
Out of that 1-year period of debate and discussion, I feel convinced that the correct personalities will emerge. We have to be careful that a national hero should be someone who commands broad-based national consensus that yes, this person deserves the status of national hero, and we would not want to have national heroes, persons selected as national heroes who may not have across the board vast majority consent and approval. So having said that, let me put my cards on the table and say that I am very much in favor of Nanny Gregg being elevated to the status of national hero.
Commission believes that a vetting process is necessary. And now for your daily COVID-19 update. A female is Barbados' latest COVID-19 positive case. She was identified on Saturday from 321 tests conducted by the Best dos Santos Public Health Laboratory. Total confirmed cases in the country now stands at 3,825. That's a breakdown of 1,864 females and 1,961 males. Meanwhile, 9 people recovered from the viral illness and were discharged, taking the number of people in isolation to 104.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Barbados Today, news you can trust.
The news from the region. a former Minister of Health in the Bahamas, does not believe that face-to-face classes should be cancelled despite a rise in COVID-19 cases. The details in this report from Our News, Bahamas.
Former Health Minister Dr. Dwayne Sands suggested closing schools at this point isn't necessary.
I am not aware that the data demonstrates that schools are a major source of COVID contamination in the Bahamas. But let's keep our eyes on it. Understand that when we deprive students of an education, the impact can be for a lifetime.
Dr. Sands added the focus should be on ensuring students follow COVID-19 safety protocols.
Getting the message out, teaching children and students how to protect themselves with appropriate public health measures will probably be the safest place to go.
On Monday, Education Director Marcellus Taylor confirmed that 5 public schools confirmed cases of COVID-19 in New Providence. He said an estimated 15 people are impacted, including positive cases and contacts of positive cases in schools which were closed for deep cleaning.
And finally, the U.S. government has signaled its intention to assist COVID-19 ravaged India. More from Reuters TV.
U.S. President Joe Biden on Sunday said the United States stands ready to help India deal with a massive spike in coronavirus cases, noting that India helped Americans at the start of the health crisis. On Twitter, Biden said, quote, "Just as India sent assistance to the United States as our hospitals were strained early in the pandemic, we are determined to help India in its time of need." Earlier on Sunday, the White House said the U.S. will immediately provide raw materials to help India manufacture the Covishield vaccine, along with medical equipment and protective gear to help India respond to what has been billed a COVID tsunami. Washington said it would also send therapeutics, rapid diagnostic test kits, and ventilators. The U.S. was under mounting pressure to help India, where oxygen plants are being pushed to the brink. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi urged all citizens to be vaccinated and exercise caution as the country set a global record for new COVID-19 infections in a single day.
That's news. But for the very latest, visit us at www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook, and sign up for our breaking news alerts via WhatsApp. We're also on Izumi Media in bus terminals, as well as screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. And you can also hear us on Mix 96.9 FM and Capital Media HD 99.3 FM.